Let us move along. Let's make that transition now to one of the best right now at 185. He has a fight on September 16th against David Branch. His name is Luke Rockhold. They're fighting in Pittsburgh. He joins us now via the magic of Skype. Mr. Rockhold, are you there? Luke, how are you?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry for keeping you waiting. Was not expecting that from Ian, and was hard to kind of say goodbye. So I don't know if you heard any of that, but it's difficult stuff to listen to. You are nowhere near that point in your career, but I feel like that's something every fighter has to deal with at some point.
Hopefully not every fighter. Obviously, has other issues with his brain and everything.
Yeah,
everything's correct. Everything's correctable. You just got to put the time in and the effort to heal things. So I wish him the best of luck. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Let's talk about you. I think the major question that everyone had when this fight was announced was, why David Branch? Why is Luke Rockhold fighting David Branch? He wasn't someone that was necessarily on the Rockhold radar. How did you end up with David Branch?
Really, what it comes down to is I can't wait anymore. I had the thought process of waiting for that fight in June. It was Anderson Silva in Rio. He wouldn't take the fight. Then we moved on to Gegard Mousasi. Gegard Mousasi couldn't get him to sign the fight. I mean, I went to 205, to Shogun, to try to get Verdum. I've tried to get everybody I could possibly think about to get a fight that really, got me up, but no one would take a fight. And now we've come down to David Branch was the only guy in the top 10 that would take a fight. And, from June to July to August, it's September, and it's time. It's just, it is time.
Are you okay with it? Like, does this fight excite you? Is this the kind of thing that gets you motivated? Are you at peace with this fight? How would you describe how you feel as you're less than 2 months away now, a little over a month?
I'm excited to fight. It's been too long. I'm glad to get back in there and to show, what I'm all about. Obviously, I've been out of the cage for a long time, and I'm not happy with the last fight I had. Obviously, I gave away, I think I gave that fight away, and now it's time to go take it back.
You just did a tour, right? Like a PR tour last week in Pittsburgh, correct?
Stopped through Pittsburgh and did a few social outlets.
Why were you alone?
Well, you could imagine. Branch is I don't know. He's new to the game, and I don't think he's going to do much at this point. So I guess it's up to me to sell this fight. He's a tough guy. I give him credit. He's going to show up. He took the fight. He's going to step up. So we'll see. We'll see what's to come of Branch. Come in the coming weeks.
So they just didn't ask him to come. They just said, "You do this by yourself."
I went to Australia by myself. They expect Jacare to sell tickets. So, I'm out there doing what I have to do. Whatever the circumstance, I've always played ball. I've always worked hard.
Okay.
That's where I'm with.
So I'm assuming you're somewhat familiar with Branch, right? I mean, he has been accused of not being at times the most exciting fighter. Is there any concern that this won't turn into an exciting fight?
I always bring the fight. I'm not worried about. Branch is a good fighter. I think he just questions himself. You can't question yourself, at this level. I'm gonna eat him up. I'm gonna push him to that breaking point, and he's gonna feel the pressure. You can't keep up with me. You can't think you're gonna do something. You have to know. I see Branch. He questions himself. He's good everywhere. He's a 3rd-degree black belt. He's a decent boxer. But there's questions in his head, and it's time for me to go, make those a little more doubtful, as the rounds go on,
Last time you were on the program, you were obviously very upset, and you essentially asked all the middleweights to strike, to say, like, enough is enough. We need some clarity in the division. Were you happy with the aftermath? Did anything come of that in your opinion, or did you feel like it was all for naught and you were left on an island?
We have an interim champion, don't we?
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys stood their ground, and we had some momentum, and then things changed for the better. But obviously things faded back a little bit. But it doesn't matter anymore. It's just go fight. Everything will fall into place. I just need to go out there and go whoop some ass and take back this division.
Well, I'd love to know your reaction whenever you got the word on your phone, someone told you, when you found out that they were going to, in the end, do Michael Bisping versus George St. Pierre. How did you react to that after everything that's been said over the last few months?
It obviously doesn't sit well. We'll see what happens. Nothing's official until it's official. We'll see.
You still think it won't happen?
I know that I know. Hey, who knows? Who knows at this point? George has been out for a long time. I can only control what's ahead of me, and that's September 16th. I'm gonna go do my job and put myself in line.
Okay, all right. So you still think if someone's buying tickets, to New York to watch this fight, not a sure thing in your mind. You've seen crazier things.
There'll be a fight. There'll be a fight in November. We just don't know who.
Oh,
But you never know if it's George. Who knows? George is going to make a fight at this stage in the game. Is all the things he's been through. You can't expect that he's going to show up to that date. His bodies might fail. His mind might fail. There's a lot of things in question with George too.
what a story. And I'm not rooting for this, but just what a story. You get through September 16th. That fight's booked. Something happens. Here comes Luke Rockhold on 2 weeks' notice. Could you imagine that? After all this,
September 16th is what I had.
Okay, all right.
September 16th is my day. September 16th is it.
All right. Does it bother you that it's the same night as Canelo Triple G? Do you feel like there won't be all that attention on you?
Like I said, timing wise, I needed to fight, and this works perfectly. I chose this date. I chose this. I chose it. I couldn't wait around. I tried to get the big stage. I tried to get the big fight.
Yeah.
I was tired of waiting. There's nothing in August. I wanted August, and this is this. And it is what it is. I'm just gonna go out there. I'm gonna show who I am, and everything will work out fine.
The initial word was that they were trying to do you versus Gegard Mousasi. Were you surprised, disappointed? How did you react when you heard that he ended up signing with Bellator?
Gegard was a fight I was looking forward to. It was something I'd eyed him down since Dream and Strikeforce, and it would have been a fun fight to have, but he chose otherwise. I'm not sure his intentions, or just on principle with the UFC, or he's getting easier paydays, whatever it is. Good for him. Go for it. I'm focused on what's in front of me here and who I have on my plate.
Did you watch
Anderson, Gegard, everybody else,
Yeah.
Vitor. I tried to get everything that made any bit of sense, and no one would step up and fight. Yoel wanted to delay and get a 3-round fight as much as he could. We all know his issues with that, fighting a real fight.
Last week, Yoel Romero's manager, Malky Kawa, was on the program, and he mentioned the Romero-Rockhold fight. It's a very quick clip. I just want to play it and have you react to it, if that's okay. Here's the clip.
Luke Rockhold taking the other fight again instead of Yoel kind of messed things up. So
that was in the works.
Yeah, I mean they offered us Luke. We said absolutely, and Luke wanted it September, whatever it was, and Yoel had had a deep ankle sprain. He said no, let's just do it in October. But apparently he wanted Yoel for a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? As fast as possible, and he wasn't 100% able to do it. We told him we'd take the fight, and we just asked him to wait a couple of weeks, and Luke said no. He wanted David Branch from the get-go. He didn't want to fight Yoel.
Is that accurate?
I wanted a fight, and like I said, from the delays, I was ready to go. Yoel wanted to delay into a 3-round fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's call it what it is. I was more than happy to fight Yoel. I would have loved the opportunity to end all the talk and shut his mouth. It's a fight I'll find here shortly, I'm sure.
In other words, you think that if the September 16th date was a 3-round fight, he would have taken it? Do you believe that?
I think it would have played to his favor and his team's favor. I think they know where their strengths are, and
right.
I know where my strengths and a 5-round fight. There's a reason why title fights are 5 rounds. It's a real man's fight. It's a real fight. It's not. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no, the likelihood of it going to the judges and getting decisions is far less. Going to the wrong man. So I'm done forcing fights. I'm done, giving away fights. I'm going to be tactical. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to take back, this division.
Did you watch the Romero-Whitaker fight? And if so, what did you make of it? Whitaker's performance, Romero's performance?
Whitaker's a tough dude. I thought he could do what he did. He put it on him. Yoel hung in there to some extent. He hit his block, in the third and the fourth, but still pushed through. But Whitaker's a tough dude. I think it was a good stylistic matchup for him. He's there for a reason. He beat Jacare, he beat Yoel. He's a viable opponent, but I'm sure I'll find him too.
Do you consider him the real middleweight champion?
I mean, I think he's the best. Right now, I think he's probably the best out there. Other than that, who of the two guys who have a belt, I'd say he's the better of the two.
I see you doing your thing on social media. You're doing all kinds of modeling still. You're in the Hamptons. You've got robes on and things like that. Was there ever a point where you thought, to hell with all of this? I'm just not coming back. This life is too good. Not getting punched in the face, being pampered, photos taken of me, or were you always planning on coming back?
I'm a fighter. That's what I am. That's who I am. That's what I do. That's what I do. I'm not gonna stray too far from that, but it's setting myself up outside the cage is crucial in this game, and getting pushed around by the heads in the UFC is not fun, and any leverage you can to combat that plays to your favor. So I encourage more people to do what they do. I'm not relying upon anything the UFC has. I'm a made man at this point, and the fighting is it's easy now. It's fun, and I don't have to rely on it, and I can fight when I want, how I want, and who I want. So, but it is what it is.
How would you characterize your relationship with them now? With the brass?
I'm good. Everything is fine right now, but we'll see. We will see what they do. At each stage in the game. Right now, I've got to fight. I'm happy. I'm getting back in the cage. I'm going to do what I do, and we'll see what's to come next.
Have you been told that if you win this fight,
it's always fun battle?
Well, say that again.
I haven't been told anything.
Oh,
but I haven't been told anything. I'm fighting. I'm going to go out. I'm going to let my performance speak for itself, and so we'll see.
I know you were cage side, or relatively close to cage side, when Chris Weidman beat Kelvin Gastelum. Were you impressed with his performance? Do you think at some point you guys will meet again?
For his sake, I hope not. Weidman looked better than I've seen him in a long time. He definitely got something back together, and we'll see. I mean, he did fight Kelvin Gastelum. He did fight a 70-pounder, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see what's to come of him. He's got a long ways to go. He's a bit delusional at times with the. He just lost 3 in a row, so for him to think he's the champion is pretty far from. But he looked decent.
Okay, you weren't overly impressed.
I said he looked good. He looked good.
Okay.
We'll see how he bounces back in fight today.
There's an intensity about you right now that is a little bit frightening, I must admit. Like, I feel like you can't go through that screen and strangle me, but if you could, you would.
I'm just ready to fight.
You're like a caged animal.
I spent my leisure. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. I'm ready to get in there and put it on this dude.
You're in Florida now, right?
I'm starting things out here.
Okay.
Just I think it's nice to get a change and to mix things up. Always keep growing and keep learning. Things are a little stale back home. I have some family things, and it's nice to get away from and just clear your head for a bit. So I'm gonna start my camp out here, and then maybe I'll bounce back to finish off.
Okay, but that's not. There's a chance you may spend the whole camp there.
Things are going well right now, and I'm checking back in with my people, with Bob and Javier and everybody back at AKA. But we'll see it. I mean, who's around? A lot of guys are injured right now. Kane's still injured, and DC is obviously taking some time off, and some other guys. We've are astray, I'd say. So my relationship here with Henry Hooft and the team is good. Everybody knows I've been training out here for quite some time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good guys my size. So I got to do what's best for me right now. And Javier and Bob Cook and Cormier, they're always going to be in my corner. And so it is what it is right now. I'm training my ass off. I'm trying to be the best I can be.
Last thing for you, there's obviously a great amount of concern about your friend and training partner, Daniel Cormier. Have you talked to him since the fight? And is there anything you could say about just how he's feeling and, handling the loss?
He's sulking a bit, but his spirits are coming back, and I think he's got his family, he's got everything going for him. So he's got a lot of bright future with anything he wants to do. Cormier is a sharp guy with a lot of things going on. So we'll see where it all falls. But I think he's like anything. That was a big stage. It was a big moment, and it was a big fall. So give him some time. The guy's got a big heart, and he's got a lot of things going for him. So time heals all.
Yes, well said. Thank you, Luke. Good to have you back. Welcome back. Good luck on September 16th. Wish you the best, and nice to talk to you again. This time shirtless. It's always great to see you. And those blue eyes. Are they blue or are they green? What are they? Hazel?
I don't know.
Okay.
You tell me.
I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Like your style, Ariel. Cheers.
Thank you, Luke.
Cheers from Florida.
Appreciate it. There he is, Luke Rockhold, one of the top contenders in the middleweight division. He is back on September 16th.